Ma, can we meet you for just 2 minutes? Tell us about yourself.
Oh, okay. Oh dear. Before we do, I think I can see so many lovely big gun names on here. I appreciate and I really applaud your Saturday afternoon. Thank you so much for counting it a fit and worthy to be able to hear a little from me. I know you guys have done yours in the past, and I'm being inspired to do that. So, Yetunde, you're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, well, I know I'm still going to do your formal, um, you know,
Yes, ma'am.
welcome
Yes.
to everyone. But yes, let me just start by saying, well, I mean, my name is right on that thing. Yes, Dominga Omolara Odebunmi ni Bangushi Martins. That's actually my full name. And so do you want me to go into introducing myself? And
Just
you're kind
your
of there
name,
on the
for
flag.
like, yes, ma'am,
I
yes, ma'am.
heard this is my name.
Just like 1 minute, just
Okay.
introduce yourself, ma'am. Just 1 minute, because we are still going to get to know more about you during this question.
Okay. Is it a test run we're doing now?
No,
I'm
just
sure this is going to be a more
like,
relaxing one.
yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. It's not going to really be formal. So just
We live?
yes, you are life, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So,
Okay, okay.
okay, all right, ma'am. All right. So, you started the career at what age, ma'am? At what age you started the career?
Oh dear. Well, it's interesting. I mean, if I say that from around maybe 24, but I would want to take it back a little into my childhood because sometimes these things have a way of showing up when one is growing up, and you probably wouldn't realize that's the path. Because especially talking about insight into career path, sometimes we need it from a time we're very aware of. Okay, maybe I started a course at some point and I changed, and then I went fully into the health and safety career. But everything tends to work together. They link up because I can take it back to the times when I was very little, and I mean secondary school level, where I used to have a lot of domestic accidents. Little did I know that I was already turning a path. When I say domestic accidents in terms of, when you're very active and you're very, um, a child that is full of energy and nothing can stop you, so to speak. I recall one accident that I had at secondary school where two of us were playing in the classroom, and one of my colleagues just said something that was not very nice and slammed the door. We were chasing after each other, slammed the door. Unfortunately, it had a door that with a glass, and I just punched through that glass and right on my arm, my skin, you could literally see the veins was kind of opening all the way from Ikorodu. Ambulance had to take me from secondary school all the way to General Hospital. I remember that journey. I didn't remember what happened after, but I'm sure. I mean, those are part of accidents. I would, cross in front of our house. I would fall inside the open drain. And it's interesting that people, instead of actually putting corrections in place, in those days, you will be blamed. So you really wouldn't pick any correction, let alone a continual improvement. You will be blamed. In fact, I was given a song, around those energy activity. So I mean, things like that. I would say, yeah, formally, maybe around, I'd say about 22 years, 20, 22 years, but informally, like I said, right from secondary school.
So, you said then back then you are involved in some domestic accident. How will you compare safety then with where we are now? Is there any kind of different, that much difference, or we are still where at then and back then those years? Is there any improvement or is
Uh,
it the same thing?
I think what we have now is more awareness. I would say that even in the very olden days, as old as I can remember, there used to be these fortnight tale stories, where adults, especially in villages, they'll come together and tell you stories about life, about incidences. They would put proverbs in it. They would encourage you to be careful, not to injure yourself. And that formed the kind of cliches you have when they say that somebody who is pregnant is seated with their legs stretched. They'll tell you that it is a taboo to cross over a pregnant woman's leg. That is, to me, is definitely safety. HSC in full package, because it's a trip hazard, number one. Number two, I mean, the domino effect of that is huge. By the time the environment is not safe, the health of the pregnant person and the unborn child is also at risk. So I would say that safety has always been, but with a lot of risk taking, people began to push back on risk, on controlling risk or embracing safety because of survival instinct over the period of time. So economy influences how well people are ready to. It influenced us in Nigeria. I don't want to say economy should be above safety culture or imbibing a good practice. So really what we have done now is to push the agenda of safety, that Vision Zero is achievable, where whether economical impact, whatever changes can take is happening, your life must come first. And so with the help of digitalization, I would say that safety awareness is a lot more now. The compliance is another chapter.
All right. Thank you very much. So have you always thought of this career, or you have another career in mind before you actually started this career?
Interesting. I actually did have, and I'm sure I was listening to some of the earlier interviewers that you've had in the past. Always, I'm still waiting to hear from the person that channeled their path right from maybe primary school and were able to achieve it all the way. I'm still looking. Usually, the journey is always very interesting because every path that you take, whether it's directly related to where you are now or not, they all add up. They all have something to contribute to your final destination. So they say life is a journey. It's interesting that I developed affinity for broadcast when I was in primary school, closer to the early part of secondary school. Broadcast because I just love to sing. And then sometimes people say, oh, your voice is so deep, it's so different. So I usually go to the radio, in those old looking radiograms. I don't know. We had these cassettes, press then. I would put it and I would begin to speak into it. And I would take a book and just be reciting into it. And then I'll play it back and I'll listen to myself and I'll think, okay, my voice is very funny. And then by the time I went on with chemistry, mathematics being my highest grades that were good for me, naturally, every parent will want your child, you have A's in chemistry, A's in maths. No, you are going to become pharmacist or you're going to become doctor, whatever. So they were kind of encouraging me to go into pharmacy. At that age, I really didn't know where I was going, to be honest. And that is generally for most people. Yes, you may love some things, but you tend to believe what, elders and people that are around you will say, you're so good in so. And that happened with a bit of my children, but I kind of pushed back to help them to channel their own course. And so I went in to start with pharmacy. My grades, well, I didn't really want pharmacy because medicine was not something I liked the smell. And so, but I knew I loved handling food. I loved creating things out of food, I knew I had, the intuition for creativity, for converting things, just changing things and making new things happen from old. That I recognized very quickly. So I felt, okay, I'll go in, I'll start this pharmacy and I'll change after a while. So I didn't go in on time. I was late for enrollment. So there was no more room for pharmacy. They gave me, what was it, drugs and chemical. They said, okay, you're still good with chemistry. You can still join pharmacy. So I started drugs and chemical. I did that for a year. Naturally, it bored me. It really bored me. Unfortunately, the next course that was next to that area. So usually when we come out of our class, we walk through that class, and I saw the food science and technology. I initially thought they were like caterers, and then I saw another department, catering. I was thinking, what's the difference between you people? And just listening. I stood by the glass one day and I was just listening. I said, yes, that's what I kind of like, converting things, making things, more creatively available. So I joined that class from the second year. So I studied food science and technology first. I did my work placement in 7-Up bottling company. Actually, before then, I did it in UAC Foods. I enjoyed the transformation and I still like transformation. Even if I went into fashion, I would still be transforming things, So I knew I loved transforming things. So I did all that, finished, got back to, did my NYSC, 7-Up again. I was automatically taken back because I enjoyed what I was doing. And I rose very quickly to become from the headquarters to the Oregon branch, to become the quality control manager, be in charge of knowledge imparting, which is school excursion. So I was given that assignment. And I began to see that I had flair, transforming knowledge. And so gradually went abroad. It was abroad that the health and safety bit really hit me. And it came from the angle of risk control, not naturally going for occupational health and safety. It started from risk control. Somebody who was studying food science and technology. So yes, I was exposed to a lot of machineries. I was exposed to a lot of chemical hazards. I was exposed to quite a number of things around that. And so there was a need for us to put, name our hazards, mention the controls of how to prevent those things. One of the things I used to say then, if you cannot smell well, you don't have no business in a laboratory because you would die of any gas leakage. And I remember our teacher used to tell us then that if you cannot smell any gas, ammonia, then don't come in for chemistry. And so that was how I moved on from the risk angle slowly into the controls of fire, controls of, so like I said, that risk control brought me into so many things like fire hazards, name it, all the various risk around that channeled then back into health and safety. So I'm kind of an all-rounder, a risk, I would say an expert.
All right. Interesting, man. You have been a very lovely content creator. Assuming there was content, I just imagine maybe we have a lot of content creators now based on technology now. Imagine then there was something like this. You have been a very lovely content creator. I'm glad you like any form of food content. So it will be very nice that you might be one of the top leading content creator in Nigeria. Maybe might not have even started the HSC. Abi, what do you think, man?
You are very right. So maybe I would have made more money faster, safe.
Yeah. Exactly.
you know. But I must say that that content creator that you mentioned, honestly speaking, I wanted to mention it in that area that one of those things that are not helping most profession is the fact that content creation is about communication, isn't it?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
know, understanding the things that you can pull together to communicate to people. And I was so lucky. I was so privileged to have a husband that is a communication expert. And I learned so quickly, I realized that a lot of us in school, especially science students, we were not really focusing on how to communicate. We were just being taught the content of technicality. And we come out to the world and you just realize that if you're not able to communicate what you know, people are not going to help or listen to you, or even let alone want to even flow with what you're telling them. And that was one of the issues we had that I saw in health and safety.
Yes, ma'am.
HSC needs to know how to communicate very well.
Exactly. Yes, ma'am. Exactly. Especially effective communication. We actually, most of us are not so good in that. Communicating with the person and the person, both the receiver, understand what you are saying, not trying to interpret in another way. Do you have any memorable experience in your early days of career that you always want to remember when you started the HSC career, ma'am?
Memorable experience. I'm thinking now. I would say, yeah, I would say that two jumps at me very quickly. Um, One not so well. I'll say two that jumped quickly, not so good, and one very good. Okay, so three in that perspective. Let me put the one that let me say the good one first, and the other one not so palatable. But the good one was really when you do things passionately and you believe in what you're doing. The challenges around those things you don't see them. As a matter of fact, if the challenges are there, you are eager and ready to use those challenges to cross another hurdle. And so you look at it as a step for another solution. I remember when I would travel on holiday, to Nigeria from Lagos State. I'm from Lagos State. So a lot of my cousins and, brother worked in Alausa. I will pass by Alausa and I will see chunks of, I'm talking about the 1980s now, chunks and piles of files. I believe there is not, I'm sure there are not anymore. Files under the stairs. It used to be like the secondary area of storing documents, piles of them. And I would look at them, very dusty and very old. I'm thinking, these are fire hazards. Why are we storing things like this? So that kind of shaped how I began to think of why are we behaving like this? And I will say to my friend, my cousins, I say, you people, you don't value life. Oh, look at your office. Everything is all, so many things, table here, table you're crossing around before you even touch it. They go. If you guys have to really evacuate now, you would have a lot of stampede before you go out. I say, well, I better take that away. Anyway, fast forward, it didn't rest. It did not just sit with me. So I was doing really very, very well. We even had our restaurant, Obalinisfia, in UK then. And so I was comfortable. We were living well. But that, when you're passionate about something, it just stays there with you. So every time when we had a visitor come from Nigeria to our restaurant, I would sit them down, especially maybe the top guys, commissioners, and I would sit them down and say, what are you people doing? This is not fair. People are dying needlessly on the road, in the office, and that. Is it that we cannot value our lives? Can't we do something? Anyway, they say, what can you do? So I say, Nigeria, I can do a lot, if you allow me, but fast that story forward. Um, because I had quite a wide experience in the area of fire risk, health and safety risk in UK, food risk, the risk associated with social care, quite vast. And I was training a lot of organizations in UK. with Food Standard Agency as well. So I kind of put something together. Maybe it wasn't ideal then. I sent it over. And consultancy, internet visitation at my own convenience because I didn't take it serious. I was just sending it. And when I'm on holiday, I'll just, did you people see something? I'll say, come and train us. So we were doing a lot of voluntary training. I mean, I set up a company, Safety Plus in UK then. We're doing a lot of training, free, voluntary, training the ministries, training different ones, not knowing that they were using our training to to be retraining. We were doing a free training for them, setting up structures for them, but they were using those content to do training, paid training for them, for their pockets. Those kind of things kind of put me off, like, look, this is why we don't progress in Nigeria. But as destiny will have it, it's kind of dropped into one of the ministries that complained about another ministry. And the story is the fact that, look, call these people in. They're the ones that are going to call them, let them come and explain. I'm talking about some years, like close to 5-6 years that, then they called us back in. We then gave a proper structure because if you're not the owner of a vision, it's difficult for you to map it out well. And so we now did that structure, and which was what brought about Lagos State Safety Commission. So that bit of the good part of it, remember that I said I wasn't taking it seriously so much. I was on holiday. They called me back for my trip. They said, okay, you have an interview. I came to Nigeria, finished the interview, walked into, and I was invited to an office. I didn't even know who the office, I didn't know anybody. I walked into the office and I was handed a letter. So that's the bit. That's that good one. I looked at the letter. Oh, letter of employment. I said, is this how you start work? Anyway, so that's the good part. The two key ones and lessons learned from there was about crowd control. We had a program, Lagos State had a program at Tafa Balewa. And one of those programs, I insisted that they had to make sure that safety was in place. So that because we've had very bad information about such programs before in the past. Anyway, what happened at that was the fact that we had good barriers, we had safety marshals all over the place, but the barriers were not strong enough. The stage was right in the middle, and everybody was complying until one of their very popular artists came on the stage. Yetunde, the way the crowd pushed down the barriers and every safety marshals that were lining around, it was unbelievable. Just for them to be able to go closer to the stage. I learned a very huge lesson that day. My PA was trampled over. It was only by a slight grace that we were able to, Lasema was there as well, Lasepa was there. So I just nudged to one of the emergency guys to pick her up and take her. They were following me to make sure that I wasn't trampled. I said, no, don't worry about me. Just pick her up. I will sort myself out. You know what I did? I jumped over 2 barriers to be able to jump on the stage. To go and put that program. I did not think about my safety. I just told the guys that were there, I said, just let me use your shoulder to launch a pad. I launched onto the stage to go and put that program to a stop. I learned a huge lesson there, and I want to share it here. Use human. Never use hand shield for control of crowd. It's extremely dangerous. I mean, my PA was fine because we had to go to a lot of people, there were a lot of, incidences there. The second one was the Dana crash. I don't know whether you remember Dana air crash. I'm just going to go straight to the lesson around that one. The lesson around that, I know we did a bit of campaign to bring that lesson to fore because that was our takeout for safety there. All the first responders were there, but we were not able to have a clear access into the building that the plane launched into. And we knew that people were in that plane because it kind of, the plane went into a tall building and broke halfway. So we could see the half of that plane hanging. The tail had dropped. That was where the fire was. And for us to be able to get access into the building from another angle, the crowd, the people were not allowed. This was midnight. It took a lot. Fire brigade was, fire station. They were just pouring the water from afar. They were not able to get in there very quickly. By the time we were able to get access, people were still strapped in their belts. So you could tell that they knew they were going to crash and they were ready. They were strapped in that seat, in that cockpit, inside the house. And that was how they had died. I believe that only if the first responders were able to reach them on time, some people may have survived it. I don't know if this was captured in our report anyway, but this is just to say, because this is live, this is just to say that please, when we see emergency vehicle on the way, don't try and confirm whether maybe there's somebody in the ambulance, they abuse it, well, don't mind them, don't worry, just block it. No, please. It could be saving somebody's life. And that person might be someone you know or you will know. And even if you don't know, it's a life. So that's the two that I want to mention and a bit of lessons learned there. And I hope
it was really a great lesson, Entma. Do you think being the first DG of Lagos State Commission had great impact in your career?
It did though. It changed me so much. Like I didn't even believe I would. I was honestly speaking, when you are launched into something that, yes, your passion is driving you and you believe in it. It changed my outlook to life. As the pioneer, I'd always I kind of reflected back in my life that, okay, we'd actually pioneered so many things in my life. So no wonder I'm pioneering this thing. I pioneered an after-school club, first in UK. We pioneered with my husband the first high street Nigerian food cuisine. And we pioneered, quite a number of pioneering had taken place. But I didn't look at it because you just, opportunity, strike the chord and move on. Until when I became the pioneer DG. And I faced structural issues. When we were putting the program, the structure, the law together, everything was looking like a story, was looking like some solutions that were being made, preparing the law, making sure it was done properly, all that you would be enjoying. But when I started, I moved all the way from the private sector into the public service. Public service, I'd worked with public service in the past abroad. My mom was a civil servant before she passed. We didn't know anything about civil service as such. We just understood. We were born into it, but we didn't really know how it worked. My brother, the civil servants, but I was not a civil servant because I just saw them from afar that, no, I'm not going that path. All of us can be in civil service. No, I'm not. I don't so much enjoy the way they work. I like, that they don't innovate. That was what I thought. But when I became the DJ, I didn't think I was working in civil service, honestly speaking, because I was passionate about the change that needed to be done. And I felt that, okay, I'll give maybe even if it's 2-3 years of my time, let's get this running. Let's put a good structure in place. We would then, interview. I was very passionate about the kind of person that would be the DG then. I didn't know that I would be the one to be the DG. And so that was the focus. But when I joined and I started, number one, I didn't have an office. And I'm thinking, how do you work with that? And my private company, I have my office. I was like, how do you work without an office? I said, oh no, I'm not saying this to undermine Lagos State government, but I bet it was a test of my resilience, And so, yes, the office is still being done. Don't worry. Yes, it's okay. You can be using conference room. Of course, when there is a meeting in conference room with the attached ministry, we would stand on the balcony, myself and my PA alone. And this was my private PA, not government. Yes, they're still doing the deployment. The staff are coming. And I'm like, we have job to do. This was around September now. September 20, I think September 2000, and September 2010. Although we'd been working with government for about 6 years before then to put those structures in place. 2010, September. And we had World Day for Safety coming in April. Basically, we're talking about November now. About how many months to come? And in my mind, I'm thinking, if Lagos State government already has this Office of Public Safety, and so we need to make an impact, that's the way we do things in private sector. A significant day is coming. You plan towards that. You hit the road running. You get things done. So I started all that, and I'm like, okay. They said, yes, go out and start sensitizing people. I said, no, in here, we're so messy in the area of safety. No, we need to start from Ile Latin Kesho Road now. Look at all the Alausa people. See how so disjointed our health and safety is. And I will be facing organizations outside. They'll be reminding me of where I'm coming from. So governor was quite pleased that, okay, we were going to get our house in order. We had safety champions started, trade. And this was a representative from every ministry, department, and agency of Lagos State, regardless of wherever you are, Badagry, Ikorodu, wherever. You had to have one officer that you will send over for free training. And so my company was the one that even did pro bono to train them, because I didn't have the budget. I didn't have, everything just went like that. So, cut the story short, slowly but surely, I began to understand how civil service worked, how public service, the relationship between public service and civil service. A lot of people don't know. Civil servants are also public servants because we serve the public. However, they are civil servants specifically because civil service is a career path in channeling documentations and bureaucracy for governance. Public servants are usually those who would come in to do the job for the public directly, agencies, technicals, MDs, and those sort of things. So it changed my outlook to life because I saw the in, the good, the not so good. I don't want to call anything bad because everything is for a good reason. I saw in and out. I saw the nick and corners and issues of Lagos State. Right from the grassroots. I saw it. And I'm like, oh wow. So this is this huge thing that I felt that I'm just going to have a ride over. So it changed my perspective about life. And so, yes, we did the job with every sector, focused on, fortunately, we were able to give it a coinage, work safe, live safe. So we knew we had to face occupational health very well. The living safe, we needed to encourage people to live well. But as soon as I left the government, I couldn't help but, safety is a DNA. I had to start an NGO called Safety in the Home because domestic accidents were too much. As a government, you cannot go and regulate how I'm living in my house. And so we couldn't do that. And it was frustrating to see how needless death was taking place. So I started that NGO. And I'm talking about 10 years ago now, all the way. I did a bit of some publications and then slowly nibbled it, kind of streamlined it per time. Now I'm focusing on the safety of elderlies in the homes because they're neglected. So that's, those kind of things. It just makes me, like you said, answer that question clearly again. Yes, it did change a bit of my orientation about life generally. And I value life more, and I value people. Thank you so much, Mr. Lada.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So I'm sure you have navigated several career setback and failure. For anyone going through that at the moment, what advice would you give the person? Oh, man, can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. For anyone
Thinking
going,
of what.
like, in terms of career setback or failure, there are times that things do not really go well with us. I'm sure you have encountered one or two, so I don't know what advice to give to anybody actually going through that at the moment. Maybe things is not actually working the way he or she wants.
You see, yes, there was a period different times I've had different types of, I wouldn't call it a setback. Now I can, on hindsight, and as a Christian, everything works together for good for those that trust the Lord and are called by his purpose. Now, every part of our journey in life is for a purpose. You may feel that it's a setback, or you may feel that you're not moving the way you should be moving. It's somehow part of the journey. Because sometimes if you just keep moving so fast, you may burn out. You need to have some moments of rest. And if you are that kind of person that is driven by the passion and go-getting and deliverables, you will not get rest that you are supposed to get. And you don't want your body to rest you by force. So sometimes those kind of period when you feel that, this is really what I would love to do. I should have been doing this. Okay, I'm feeling frustrated. No, it is a point of, this is what I would say to you. It is, I felt like that too, but I'm giving you this perspective now as a reflection, because I just wish I had enough of information like this there, but I was forced to understand that, no, slow down. So that period, if you're feeling like you're not moving the way you should, take a break. Look, reflect on life. Reflect on your past passion. Reflect on what you would have, what else can you be doing that you love doing? If I'm not saying lose focus now, keep that on the burner on one side, but embrace on the side something like maybe singing or something that you just love to do. Enjoy it. If you like to enjoy fellowship, enjoy it. It's not the time to go and be thinking of, well, just let me just change this career path, Jerry. Except if you're not sure before you got in there. You need to redefine the reason why you got into that career path. Is it something that you believe in, that you are bringing a solution? Not just, they're saying, this is what is the in thing now. Oh yes, everybody is now going into it. Watch that. That would phase out in no time. You really need to know deeply inside of you that, okay, if there is no money in this career, would you still be interested? That's number one. However, it is always necessary to understand that, yes, you need money to sustain things. So, but that shouldn't be your first drive. It is the solution that you're bringing that should be your first drive. So reflect on that. Are you pushing on this career? Are you pursuing this career with the wrong mindset? You need to review that. If you are, then, and you do still have this feeling of you're not moving forward, okay, enjoy that time. What I mean by enjoy that time is volunteer more into the same career path. Volunteer more, maybe if you're a church person or you go to mosque, volunteer other things. One or two lessons that you've learned from what you've done, put yourself into voluntary. Or is it the time that you want to think about in maybe just to kind of brush yourself off? It could be a time for you to go and do some more studies. So on that journey, it does not have to be the way you want it every time. You must, because otherwise you are taking control of your life. You can't be in control of your life. God is in control of your life. So you need to speak to God and just have a reflection and you rethink. And as long as you are convinced about that passion, that career path, keep at it. You will be shocked that it will come at some point. It will just strike the chord. And that's the kind of story I just mentioned about the office of DG. I told you, I was never interested in working in public service. So look at all the paths that I've worked. And then to now come this direction. There was a point just before I came to Nigeria then, I remember that I left working fully as an employer of an establishment. We set up our business. Our business was on autopilot. And I just felt like, I felt a bit frustrated that I'm not doing more. And I was like, what more can I do? Look at this picture now. I didn't know this office was in the embryo. What more can I do? But then I had my family, I had my children. My children were in secondary school, the one that needed to go into new secondary school. We wanted them to be in boarding house as they were getting older into A levels. All of them were getting admission into boarding here and there. The one that was in university so that we can have a free and move around. But there was one child. There's always one. There was one child. They didn't take him in the body and he could not stay with anybody else. Yes, my sister was there. And we felt that you would be passing your responsibility to somebody else. But that child, I was at home with that child for over 1 year. At some point, I began to think, am I not going to start speaking like a child now? Those periods were low moments for me. But during that period, I will try my best to enjoy his presence. And it was later on in years, he was telling me that I used to enjoy coming home to see you because I had everything to myself. Everybody was not at home. It was just you and I. And it really was a good time. I was thinking, only if this child knew what I was going through. And then after a while, around that period, I just felt, okay, I went to go and enroll for some courses just to occupy myself and enlighten myself. So all those things I did became a useful element when I became the DG. It stretched my resilience. There was no hurdle in Safety Commission or in government that could stop me. And those who worked in government or who have worked with people in government, you will understand what I mean. That they are so pressured to the point that they will put obstacle in everything. Not that it's deliberate that they want to put obstacle in people's path. But sometimes the pressure in there is huge and careless. So defending a lot of things that I did and being able to defend my budget, being able to do this was learned from them, those little times. But I didn't know I was going to make use of them. Being able to speak to grassroots, being able to change from English to Yoruba to broken to, So please, if you find that on this path of your journey, what you call a setback, it is not a setback. It is for you to learn, maybe unlearn again, relearn things that you've probably done that you were not meant to do, or things that you were meant to do that you did not do. But they are intentional from God. God is not a mistake. God doesn't make mistakes. So even if you feel bad about them, don't beat yourself to it. Take those things as a launch pad and move on. That's what I would want to say.
Thank you very much. That was very, very insightful, ma'am. You mentioned about your son during the discussion. I just want to know how you're able to maintain healthy work-life balance, being a wife, a mother, and a career person. I like to always know more, so I can also learn from you too.
Yes, and I'm an entrepreneur as well, because
Yes,
I
ma'am.
love business. Wearing those hats together, it's number one. I don't want to sound patriotic, but it's the fact. It is number one, grace. You need to, it comes from enjoying what you're doing. If you're enjoying what you're doing, you would be able to put things into different compartments each stage. Now, you may have started one, of course, and then you love your children. So you also have a plan around your children. You should not neglect your children for anything. I say to my children, when I was in the office of DG, I said to them, they were abroad and some were still in university, some had just graduated, different things like that. I tell them, initially it was like, we can't disturb mom, we can't disturb. I said, if you need to speak to me, call me. Even if I'm in front of the governor, I will ask for an excuse and I will hear you. Now, we had that understanding after a while. Initially, it wasn't like that because they were drawing back and I didn't want that. They were trying to, they felt they were helping me by giving me space to, let mommy do her job. And I made them understand that, no, you come first. Obviously, the family should come first because that's where you're going back to. That office will finish. Is it not finished now? You go back to your family. And then even if in the office, you cannot be happy if your family end is not settled, if it's not happy. So it's a combination of the two. You have understanding, you also now have boundaries around different things. I may pick that call and say, I am at so. I will call you back. Is it urgent? They said, can it wait? Can it wait? Yes. Okay. Now we do a lot of text and messages. So, it's probably not going to be relevant. So, but to be able to cope with all that is number one, you need to love God. Honestly speaking, you cannot do it all by yourself. You need to love God. If you love God, yeah, He will strengthen you because you will talk to God like you're talking to your husband or you're talking to your friend very, very frequently. And you will ask for the things that you require and He will give you more and then makes it easier for you to put those things. And then divine wisdom comes to put them into place. But the most important amongst all I've said is try as much as possible to see that you're enjoying what you're doing part time. When you do that, you will not be stressed and you would, there may be few hiccups along the line. Don't take it too seriously. It's still part of the journey. And watch after your health.
Thank you very much, ma'am. If you can give advice to your younger self, like going back to
To younger self.
what about with your younger self?
You mean to my younger self?
Yeah, like going back, that you're back to my age.
How old is it to me?
No,
Then
not
let's talk about that
my
online
age.
now.
This like someone like back to like maybe when you are 20, in your 20s.
Okay, in the 20s. Oh, wow.
What about you give yourself?
Let me see. If I was to go back in time, I would say for me, is it for me or for the people?
For yourself.
Myself.
Yes,
If
for
I was to
yourself
go
and
back
for
in
other
that
people.
other people,
No, for
honestly
your
speaking,
no.
what I would have
First,
loved
man. Firstly, for
myself
your
first.
your first self. Your own
Okay.
self first.
Okay.
Then secondly, for someone else
First.
that's just starting
Okay.
a career.
Honestly, firstly, hmm. honestly, I reflected about this some days ago, and I felt what has helped me to stabilize life better is a key thing. And I should have known, I should have been in that fold a lot earlier. And that is, honestly speaking, giving my life to Christ a lot earlier than my early 20s, because it changed it kind of opened my eyes a bit more. It gave me all the qualities that was required. Remember that I said when I first started, I was talking about that I was I used to have a lot of domestic accidents.
Yes, ma'am.
A lot in those days. And I just felt that, I was playful. I was full of energy. And of course, my parents, they probably, it was more like, okay, you know, those kind of words that we say. If you have a child that is, I'll put it in that aspect now. If you have a child that is very energetic and full of energy, honestly, if you're not a Christian, try it to, because it worked for me. Quickly encourage that child to become a Christian, to become a born again Christian, to have, I'm not talking religion now, I'm not talking church, I'm talking to have a relationship with the Creator. We don't look at it from that angle. Instead, we will punish the child, we will reprimand them, we will do all sorts of controls that we know best. But the source of that control and helping to shape the beauty of that child coming out is what I've just mentioned to you, giving my life to Christ. So if I knew, it took me a while to get that. You will see hurdles in a different way. You will see them as opportunities easily. Because if you don't see hurdles as opportunities, you will feel that life is beating you. You just say things anyhow. And only you are saying things that will make you, more down. So Christianity helped me to quickly change that. And I began to see the fruit of positive talking. So for somebody now, that's for me. For somebody, yeah, I mentioned a bit of that, because if the person is full of energy and they like activity, and if they're not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because that my son, that second son, is a very quiet one. He hinge courses and everything, drawing them closer to God is also important. You see, the energy, the chores of life, the journey of life, we often feel that we're the one mapping our path. We're not. We're not. We're just here on a journey. And after maybe God helping us to reach a long age, everybody will come down from that bus stop, that bus of life. So that tells us that thought of, okay, so we're actually not in control, because if you're in control of that life, then you will not die ever. The death is for an appointed time, but once. So really reshape your quick close days. It's like you own the world. You, hey, I was prayerful, but there was a difference. So please take the journey of life carefully, prayerfully, and it'll be a lot easier. They say Nigerians, we pray too much, we pray a lot. It is what has helped Nigeria. Whether we are praying a lot, the target that we pray a lot, we do less, it has still helped Nigeria and Nigerians. So please, would you rather not pray a lot and do well? Prayer without works is death, no doubt. And work hard. Work hard. There is dignity in labor. Honestly, don't look into all the shortcuts, the yahoo yahoo, and the fast track, the things that people are doing. No, it is a seed that brings curse. the good books that I read says that sin is a reproach. It goes into generation upon generation. You might escape it, but the next generation in that path of doing unrighteous things, doing things that are not pleasing God, I tell you, it will come back. It is a circle. So please, whatever, put in your mind, I want to do good very quickly. Help me to be able to find my path and to be able to stay on my path. Sustain me with the knowledge and the wisdom to be able to navigate life very quickly. There are lots of distractions, and those distractions are part of things that would also sharpen you. So distractions will always be there because it would also help you to push you back on track if you're focused. And so stay focused. Don't get distracted. Okay?
All right. All right, ma'am. So how do you stay updated with the latest developments? You know what is happening in the industry, the trend and everything. How do you stay updated?
Updated with latest developments.
What
It's a lot
is the
easier now. There's a lot going on in our field. The world is evolving, so we know that it's opening up, new niches, new things will be coming up now and again, different times. I wish I had time to read more because they say readers are leaders. I've never been able to, the books that keep me focused on are professional books. You see all these story, autobiography, and all that. I read it halfway and I drop it. So I'm more a visual person, and so I keep my vision guarded. So I use a lot of exploration, observation. It keeps me on track, and my key core interest, digitalization. I love transformation. Remember now, I'm able to reflect back, and I know why I used to love to transform things. And so I'm using that now to channel the rest of life, to say digitalization, transformation. So that's the quest, and it's made life easier, and it's going to become easier. Digitalization is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, that at the click of a finger. There was one short interview that I did last week, and we were talking about somebody that we were talking about the launch of Paddy, bringing in digital safety solutions, first time in Nigeria. And I was now saying that I saw something on some of the videos that Paddy published, askpaddy.com, that published the video of that woman. She was having stroke, very fit person in her house, but she didn't realize that. She didn't actually know that maybe she had a bit of ailment, but she was having stroke, and then she fell. So she fell below the table, but her phone was on the table. She was stretching her hand, but it didn't reach because she's left-handed and it was the left that was down. So she couldn't really reach. And then I think all of a sudden, she just, I don't want to say it now because what happened was that on that interview, I said it, and before you knew it, the phone's in there. You know what I'm talking about, like, hey Siri, call, and I'm telling you, it was that thing that saved that woman. So Siri picked it, the voice, called the ambulance, and ambulance were able to trace where she was. And that was how she was saved. Now, that recording, let me make you laugh now. That recording was on that link at the channel, at that radio channel, the station. It was on that link. I forwarded the link to somebody else. They listened to the radio interview, and because their phone, this is digitalization now, their phone, I'm talking about somebody abroad, their phone, they were listening to it on loudspeaker. And so when he got to the bit where I said, that woman said, something, because I've learned that lesson now, I don't want to say it, because of this recording, so, call, blah, blah, blah. That person's phone in UK dialed their 999.
Hmm.
Telling you, this is the power of digitalization. And she sent me her feedback that digitalization is bringing the world together. And that's how I'm going to be connecting with life aggressively, because I'm enjoying the transformation. I'll stop there.
All right, thank you, ma. Thank you, ma. Have you taken any risk in your career that you have learned some great experience from it? Have you taken any risk in your career? Or your career has been risk-free?
Risk-free. There's no career that is risk-free.
It's possible. It's possible things
There is
that
no.
so it's possible, it's possible things that so you've not taken any risk. Everything's so lovely and calm for
Oh,
you now.
yeah, very honky-dory. There is no, even life. Life is risk on its own. So, my dear, it's everywhere. I've made some choices that were not so, I would say, well, you can call them risk, but I've made choices that were not so good. I mean, they were not things that I would have loved to do. But then, like I said, everything works together for good. They still come handy. They still, they still add up, somehow. So even if you are taking risk in different parts of the career, it is part of the journey. Enjoy it.
All right,
But
thank you,
you
ma.
can ask for it or how to control. You can use hierarchy of control. You can use different things, but out of it to pray.
All right. Ma, I just want to know, do you have a mentor?
Yes, of course. Why would
Because
I have mentor?
I just sometimes even most time my mentor and tell me about my Monica, my Dr. Mrs. Monica. I always ask that they also have mentors. They will say they have mentors. So I'm just wondering, your mentor. I was just imagine you have a mentor. Can you just talk briefly about your mentor?
Yes, I don't have one mentor.
Okay, ma'am.
I have mentors.
Mm.
And that's how to really do it. Because the moment you are growing and you are expanding into different horizon. For example, I have a spiritual mentor, first of all, because I desire to grow spiritually. So a pastor is my spiritual mentor. In my career, when I moved into public service, I remember that somebody who had worked in public service very longer than me, I used to look at the way and I would go and say, how did you do this? How did you do that? I said, you know what? I'm going to make you this is a colleague. I'm going to make you my mentor. Yeah. Because I like the way you're getting results. Because why do you need mentors? You need mentors to be able to get results and learn and unlearn and relearn. In the journey of life, my husband is my mentor. It doesn't mean we've not had hurdles. There's no husband and wife that will not have had their goosebumps. It is still part of the journey. My mentor, because remember I said that as a science student, we don't communicate well. And
Yes,
I now realize why God made us to meet up. I mean, the way we met was just so very funny. It was like, no, it's just a friend. No, into broadcast. No, I don't do broadcast. I don't do journalists. I don't do broadcast. People in broadcast, no, they're too busy. People are all over there. Me, I show off too much to allow one man to be showing off to me. Those kind of things. But then eventually it became that is destiny, divinely orchestrated by God. It was somebody else that was actually guiding and nurturing and nurturing me to say, maybe this woman, okay, she will look at our face one day. That took us to where I met my husband. And it was just like joke. But of course, we became friends, and then the rest is history. Now, along maybe 20 years down the line, I was able to reflect back to say, oh, now I begin to understand why we were together. So sometimes we joke. Now, I mean, we've been together, we're going towards 30 something to 40 years now.
Mm.
You know, well, I'll say 30 something years because I think around mid 20s. About 35 years now, we would joke. I was like, he would look at me and say, hey, looks like we're stuck for life. I say, we are just smelling that coffee. He would say, like, a joke, like, it looks like we're stuck for life, stuck together for life. So we will now break it down and say, you know what? When we used to fight over some things, this was all part of mentoring each other. So, yes, I have mentors for different areas of my life. As long as you desire to grow in that area, it is important to have mentors. I have admirers. I have those that I admire as well. Somebody that I used to, that I would say that I've read her book back to back, Mama Ibuko Awushika. I read her book because I just love her spirit. You understand? So you can have somebody that you revere, you admire, and they're your mentor, but not direct mentors.
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
get it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So that is also possible.
Yes,
She
ma'am.
doesn't know. I've met her once, twice, but I mean, I didn't say, "Oh, ma, you are my mentor." Mm-mm. But you can be sure that she's surrounded by so many mentees. And I'm proud to say that I'm one of them because I just love her drive. I love her outlook to life. And to top it up, she's a woman of God. What more can you ask for? And
Mm-hmm.
God will continue to strengthen a lot of women and men in that regard. Remember, I did say that a woman can also have a man mentor.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't forget that. It's
Mm.
like you have,
Yes,
because you have to have a balanced
yes,
perspective of life.
yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
so I do have.
Yes, ma'am. So, is there anything you'd like to share with us about your career journey that we have not discussed?
Anything. Let me see. That we've not discussed on this meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm thinking in my mind. I'm thinking whatever gets you up every day. Remember that we said something to do with, and you don't necessarily have to have money around it. Of course, if it brings money, wisdom, yes, it's profitable. Yeah, take it. Um, I would say that it's something that you should nurture well. Something that when you wake up early in the morning and it comes to mind and you smile about it a little bit, nurture it well. If a thought comes to you and you feel downcasted about it or you feel negative about it, don't allow it to bring negative energy into your path. Always embrace positive energy. Anything that would give you a positive energy. I was reading something, I was watching. Remember, I said I love to watch things. A short clips one day. The Shauna Barbers. She's one of the first female soldiers. I'm not sure if there's any other one that has won a pageant because soldiers don't do pageants. She tried. I mean, she was encouraged by one of those pageant leaders. She was just having a drink and she just said, well, you can become Miss US. And she just laughed that soldiers, we don't do pageants. But anyway, she was encouraged to start with the state one. She said she did about 6 times in the States, obviously after getting permission. She lost more than 6 times, 6 years running. And then the seventh, or maybe she even lost the seventh year. It was that very last seventh year. She called that woman and said, you should have just left me to embrace. You said I would become Miss USA one day. And the woman said, just try one more time. Unfortunately, that woman died. And it was that year that she won the Miss State and then she became Miss USA. I mean, so anything that embraces positive energy, embrace it. It's good. Don't encourage toxicity. Don't think toxic, because it also has a health impact on one. Okay, so I would want to ask that one of the things we've not asked, and I want to ask it, is that in 5 to 10 years, because I was thinking that you would answer that. I
I
know
was
this
just
is my Odyssey,
yes, ma'am.
but
I wanted to ask, I'm just
where
looking at the
is
time. Yes, ma'am.
where
Yeah.
is my Odyssey with Yetunde going? What will it be in 5 to 10 years?
Okay. If
That's the
I always say, people ask me why did I start this program. Do you know that this program I just woke up January as in first. I was just thinking I want to start. I don't even,
yeah.
to be honest with you, I have a long time. I'm trying to develop so many vision about it now because it's not something that I thought about last year. It was just late last year, this year I thought about it. And the reason why I started the program was because I did not have much opportunity to be able to hear from people that have experience. And I found out that since I know more people, why can't I just bring people up and people can learn from them? So I'm actually thinking of so many things on it very well. I'm thinking of even having a live program on it, having guests. So I have so many vision, but I just need support. Sometimes it's not that easy because you might not have the real people sharing you up now, but I know I'll get there. So as at now, my 5, 10 years, I don't know. I just want to allow things to move at its own pace. I'm not
Wonderful.
rushing things. I just want to enjoy myself because the main purpose of this thing is I'm not trying to gain crowd. I'm not trying to have follower. I just want people that doesn't have the capacity to meet people, to be able to talk to them, to hear from them. Because based on my own industry now, I was so opportunity to know so many people. So I was like, oh, so you can actually hear from that person. So everybody is so happy. Not that they might not have access to you. They might not have access to Njendemi Badmos. They might not have access to Mr. Dakpo. They might not have access to Madam Monica. Many people I know. So now they were able to have access to them and hear from them. So all the mistake that some people have made, so they won't make same mistake. So if I have had this kind of knowledge when I was very young, then I wouldn't have been where I am now. But I'm grateful for where I am. I will have made some
Yeah.
steps, and that is why I just started this program. So I don't know the long time plan. I don't know. I always tell people I don't know, but I know that things will keep evolving itself. That's just it.
Exactly. I'm happy you said you are just enjoying yourself.
I'm enjoying
So
myself. That's just it.
every stage, enjoy it.
Yes, ma'am.
Every stage. All right. So it will open up the path that it wants for itself, and you will recognize it.
Yes, ma'am. Because when I started the
Yeah.
program, many people are giving me so many suggestions, so many things, and the people have actually created the dream for me for the past 5, 10 years. So I'm actually working the best. I just said, I told them, just allow me, just move. I don't want any. I'm not trying to gain follow. I'm not trying to gain. I don't want to. I just want to be myself and enjoy myself. That's what I'm trying to do at my own pace.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
we got timing.
Yes,
Yeah, I don't want to
yes.
rush.
Because you are also doing that digitally. You're in the space of digital world now. Because you can imagine if you wanted me to come to a place for 1 hour or 2 hours, I won't have that time,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
it's a good thing you're doing. Keep at it.
ma'am.
A lot of people will benefit from
Yeah.
it.
And I'm also,
And
my
that
plan
is
is
what
also to move beyond HSC. I'm going to be calling people from modern industry to not only HSC. I just want to start more with HSC now, but there are a lot of people I need to talk to. So I'm going to move to different sector, HR, and I'm going beyond HSC. That's my long-term dream. Sir. All right, ma'am.
absolutely. Well
Thank you for the
done.
question.
Well done.
So what service?
And whatever you one second, whatever you require to
Yes, ma'am.
also brush yourself up on the two, because there are two subjects that you're doing here.
Yes,
You're
ma'am.
doing communication
Yes,
and you're doing digitalization.
yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
in this path, along the way,
Yes,
whatever
ma'am.
you require to brush yourself personally,
Yes, ma'am.
do it now.
Yes, ma'am.
It will be in preparation for the future.
Yeah, that's why most time I
Okay?
listen to so many podcasts from different live show, from different people to understand how they ask questions, how they interact. So it won't be direct so much like format. So I've listened to so many podcasts. I do it a lot on YouTube now. Just to improve. I will get better with time.
Of course, we can
Yes, ma'am.
formalize it as well.
Yes,
enroll,
ma'am.
you know,
Yes, ma'am.
it's for yourself because
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
helping you to keep your vision
Yes,
as
ma'am.
well in track.
Thank you very
Lovely
much, ma'am.
news.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So what service do you render at the moment do you love to share with us? Like you're talking about something about the party or projects.
Oh, okay. Yes. We launched the. Oh yes. We launched the party. Oh, thanks. Shout out to everybody that came. Thank you so much. I mean, it was a limited space that we had, but everyone that was able to be connected online as well. Yes, it's a digital safety solution. Because really our channel, our new vision is to really make sure that we can transform our safety habits in Nigeria from just compliance, to become a DNA, to become part of us. And so that was why we launched that digital safety solution. There's been different platforms of how we digitalize our actions, our activities in health and safety. But Paddy is your safety buddy. Is someone you can just call easily, or is something you can ask about anything that is bothering you on safety issues, or you saw some hazards. Because I mean, these were part of things that we learned from when I was in government. We couldn't really face the hazard in Nigeria. We could not cover in Lagos State. We could not cover it in the entirety. And so part of those things are what Paddy is helping to solve. That you find a hazard somewhere, just take a picture and upload it. Ask Paddy, put it on Paddy. Before you know it, Paddy will be the one that would talk about it for you, will communicate it to the right department, and make sure that indeed, the right people hear about it and they quickly put it to place. And I was quite glad that the Lagos State Commission realized that this is something that will bring value to HSC officers, HR people, everyone, every human being. It will bring credence and also support the work of the Safety Commission. We have to become safety. We have to have safety DNA in our system. We have to. So really, it has really helped. So yeah, it's askpaddy.com. And from the consultancy part, we've also created tools. So please reach out to Safety Plus, and let me do a shout out. We've created tools that can help you to measure the level of safety culture in every establishment, in any company that you are also doing consultation for. You can use our tool. You can use that to reach out, and it will help you to get more jobs.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to do that.
Yeah, all right, ma. Any final thoughts, ma? Take away as we round up, ma. Can you hear me, ma? Any final thoughts?
Take away. Yes, of course I can. Yes, of course I can. Yeah, take away here is that life is a journey. This is my Odyssey with you. I appreciate those that have been on here, and I know that this is the beginning of great and great grounds to break. Life is a journey. Take it gently and enjoy each path as they come, one step at a time.
All right. Thank you very much.
I love you, everyone. I love everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you for joining the program. We appreciate you. We'll have like 10 minutes for question now for anybody that wants to ask a question. Please